Okay, so my name is Matt,
And I'm Luke.
and we always talk about games with each other, so we thought, you know what? Let's just record it and put it up and see if anybody actually cares.
No one will.
Right. Well, so you've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X a lot recently, right?
Yes. Yes, I
So,
have.
I mean, I've seen you playing it, so I know.
A solid 50 hours so far.
Yep.
Have not beat the game, but
So, what are your general thoughts on the game? How do you enjoy the game so far? Is it good? Is it okay? How is it?
I think it's very good. It's definitely scratching a very big RPG. It's like
Hmm.
open world, more like real time RPG. But it's really good. I mean, if you know like get into like gameplay and stuff, right?
Hmm.
Um, it it runs very well. No like frame rate drops or anything. Like almost no glitches you want to.
Hmm.
Um, for like when you're exploring and stuff, there's they made it so you can run and you run very fast, which and you can jump pretty high too. It doesn't make any sense at all realistically, but it makes exploring really fun, more fun
Yeah.
than the last games on Xenoblade Chronicles. But if you get into like combat and stuff, it it's primarily the same from what I can tell. But they did add a very big thing in my opinion, which is soul voice.
Hmm.
So essentially, like in the first one, characters would call out different like catchphrases and whatnot when
I'm
they're
really
battling.
feeling it.
Yeah. Um,
It's Ryan time now.
except this time they actually have a gameplay purpose where someone says like stagger the enemy and it's arms above their head, so you
Hmm.
select an arms melee art, and your character like activate a combo with them, stagger the enemy or whatever, but or like give you buffs or heal you, whatever.
Yeah, I played the first Xenoblade Chronicles just earlier this year, and I've got to say that sounds like it's quite a good improvement. It really makes sense to make something like that was such a fun and interesting part of the game, just to listen to them talk while you're battling and make that into actually part of the experience and part of the strategy. Seems like that was a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially makes it more interesting than the comment in the first one because I found myself where in the first one where I just kind of get into like the same repeat patterns you kind of go with
Mm-hmm.
whatever setup you had with the arts, and this one made it so like they call out different soul voices, which depending on how the combat's going, which makes you try like different things. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's something that definitely happened with me a lot. I was definitely repeating, rinse and repeating the same moves again and again when I played the first one, and I didn't really mind too much, but there were a few points where it's like, well, I don't know, I guess I could try playing it as a different character, but I do like this character. I just kind of wish there was a few different things I knew how to do properly, but maybe that was my own fault for not understanding all the things I could do very well. So, just overall, uh, how do you think the gameplay itself is upgraded in this one compared to the last one?
Upgrade it. I mean, it really is like mostly in the battle and like what we mentioned before, but
Mhm.
and really, it roughly feels like I'm playing Xenoblade
Mhm.
again, really. Obviously, they added more things, like we mentioned, for the warning, and you have, a lot higher jumps, you have a lot more air, which makes exploration more fun. They also added the scales.
Hmm.
It takes like 30 hours into the game to get one, but once you do, it's really interesting.
Scale seems to be an exciting point for everybody.
hmm uh, I have not got to the point where my scale has been upgraded to fly, but you do, really, well, you move much faster. You can jump much higher with it so far. Well, I'm really excited once I can actually fly with my scale and make it really fun.
So, what about the story? How does the story improve over the first one? Is it better, worse? What is it?
Improve, it probably fails in every way. At certain points, it matches it, at least in like production, like how it actually tells the story.
Hmm.
Really nice cinematic cutscenes that really match the first one,
Hmm.
but those are sadly somewhat rare in this.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of the story I felt was just those characters like standing in a circle, like awkwardly moving around and talking to each other like a PS2 game.
Yeah. So it's not bad. It's just not as good as the first one.
No, definitely not. I mean, the story itself, you just ignore how they present it. It's not bad.
Right.
I was more interested in the first game's story, but still, it's not bad. They just present it in such a poor way.
So, outside of just the story, are the characters themselves as interesting as the first one?
I'd say so. I mean, it really, obviously depends on what you find interesting in the character and stuff. I
Hmm.
thought there was some good lines from some of them, interesting characteristics and whatnot. Uh, but I mean, sadly, a lot of it is ruined by a huge thing that they really messed up in this one compared to the last one, which was uh, they like basically don't show much emotions at all in the faces. It's very like they're like in one state of face, and it's just like then bad lip syncing and
Yeah, I don't think their faces look weird, but when they're talking and they have no emotion in their face, it's like worlds different from what the first game looked like. The first game, they really shined their emotions with just their facial expressions.
yeah, I mean, Shulk and stuff. All the characters, Shulk was the one they focused on a lot in the first one. You could really tell they put a lot of effort into some emotion in his face.
You could really tell how much he meant it when he said, "I'll kill you!"
Yeah, they're not you, the player.
Oh, yeah, well.
Hopefully,
So, what about the music? How does the music hold up in this one?
I think it's very good. I don't personally like it as much as the first game's music. You got
Mhm.
uh, uh, you'll know our names, and Gore Plains and whatnot.
Engage the enemy?
Engage the Enemy is
Yeah.
really good. Tracks from the first one, there's obviously lots more songs.
Mhm.
This one is really good music still. It's composed by the same composer that did Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Plenty of others.
It's his first game, in fact, he composed.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you get the overworld themes in the different continents, the day and night themes in different ones, they're very good. I think they're very spot on. They really feel fun exploring like that. But you get to certain things like the normal battle theme,
Mm-hmm.
where it's fine at first, and then he gets into like a guy rapping, and it's like, well, this is really kind of odd. At least to me, I don't really mind rapping. I'm also not a fan. To me, it was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
It kind of fits, at least after like 50 hours I put into it. I'm pretty used to it, but
Yeah.
it's still odd.
Yeah, rapping music, it kind of just annoys me, so, I mean, I don't really like that bit very much. And, like, the new LA music is something that it fits. I think it fits at first, and I like it to an extent, but it really, really quickly gets really old and just kind of starts to annoy me after a little bit. But most of the music seems to fit pretty well, and there's a few that are pretty good from what I've heard.
Yeah, big shout outs to the, I don't know the exact name of the song, but it's the music that the battle theme for when you're fighting tyrants, which is basically the equivalent in this game to named enemies from the first one.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any extra thoughts that you have about the game overall that you just think is worth mentioning?
Yeah, there's a few. The game looks pretty good graphically, I mean, especially for a
Mhm.
Wii U game and how big it is. They definitely did some good things. Some of the plant life looks a little 2D, and if you notice, you like turn the camera, it turns your view and stuff like that.
But it looks good from a distance.
It looks good from a distance. Some of the textures look really stretched out, not very good up close.
Especially for how massive the world is, which is something we didn't really mention. But the world is so giant in this game; it's kind of crazy. But it looks really good for what it is. It could look better, and when you get close, it's not the greatest on most things, but it does look pretty good still, and everything has a nice shine to it.
Visually, one of the big things you notice the most probably is mostly when you fast travel, you load it up in any areas, you see textures aren't there, no bump mapping or anything. You have to wait a little bit for that to load up, so it looks really weird. Well, I mean, as far as story, we should probably go back to that one. This is the big thing to mention too. You customize your own character.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an interesting Shulk. You just have a silent protagonist
Mm-hmm.
who, and you can pick voice clips and stuff for him, but he only really actually says anything during battles and say a few things for like the soul voices and whatnot. But otherwise, like, it would be in a cutscene, the characters are like asking questions or whatever, like pause the game, give you different options to say, but whatever you say, a character just like crosses his arms and nods silently. He doesn't even grunt. It's just really weird and awkward.
It seems like they could have at least done something like what Fire Emblem Awakening did, where your characters have little voices clips that they say that kind of make sense with the dialogue they're saying, even if it's not directly what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of shines their personality. It shows their personality. And it's kind of just a nice way to keep it up there. It would have been nice if they did that, but it's not the worst thing.
Another thing that's really nice too, you can go, you start at like a base class, and you have they're all the classes are nice, but you have nice set of arts and whatnot, and you can, once you get your class up to level 10, you can move on to the next class. And once you get to like pick out of 3 classes.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get one of those up to level 3 or level 10, you can pick like out of 2 more, and it goes up a little bit. And the classes are all like very different. There's like a range one, there's an up close one, there's one that like specializes in buffs and everything. It's nice because like you can, anytime you can access the menu, you can switch classes really quickly. So it's nice, you can switch between things pretty quickly, which is really convenient. But something I found quite inconvenient in the game is when you recruit a team member and you can use them, you have to go find them on the map, which it will tell you if you click around on the map a little bit, like where they usually found. But it's like, as far as I've found, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anywhere where you can just, okay, I want to take these people with me. You have to actually walk around the world and find them and ask them to join.
Yeah, so it's not like the first game, or even most RPGs, where your whole party is always with you. You just don't see them unless you have them set to you to be battling with you.
Which also means, unlike the first one, if they're not with you, they're not getting any XP. They'll be left behind. You'll be at level 30, and they'll be down at like level 13 or whatever. I mean, obviously in RPGs, they catch up fairly quick if you use them, but still a little annoying. So probably the biggest thing, though, was like the last thing I think, and the biggest thing was, I think it was a huge design flaw for them, was they forced you to do certain side quests or made you explore a certain amount of areas before you can progress with the story. This was fine. I actually enjoyed. I think it was probably actually good that they made you explore a little bit of the different continents. Before you moved on with the story, you actually had to explore the world instead of just going straight to your main story destination. But the problem is when they make you do a quest. Now, this I didn't mind too much at first, but then I got to the part, I believe, before Chapter 8. They made you do a quest called the Matchmaker, which you had to get one of your party members up to a certain level of affinity with you, which, basically how much they like you. So this character, it wasn't like required really much. They threw it on you at one point. I never really used this character, but all of a sudden I had to get the affinity up so high to even progress the story. So it was really annoying. I spent probably like an hour or two or more going around doing side quests that I didn't really feel like doing. When I fight in battles, I got bored from, just so I could raise the affinity with them so I could move on with the game.
Yeah, I feel like the story should be something that you can do separately from all the side stuff if you want to do. If you want to play the game and you want to feel like, okay, I want to beat the story, I want to roll the credits, and then I'm done with the game, you should be able to do that without being forced to do that side content. The content that is designed as side content and feels like side content shouldn't really be pushed on you when you're playing the main story, I don't think. But
yeah.
So overall, what do you think? Is it worth playing for anybody that really liked the first one, or just maybe they just enjoyed it but it wasn't their favorite game? Is it still worth getting?
I mean, if you like the first one, you're probably going to like this. Just have an interesting story, and the gameplay is roughly the same, but with a decent few, like a handful of improvements here and there. And if you like exploring and doing side quests in the first one, there's lots to do in this. Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend it if you probably still too if you didn't like love the first one, but you still liked playing a little bit. I mean, it's more grindy in some parts to go through the main story, which is annoying. The biggest thing to know, though, if you jump into this without much experience with Xenoblade, is that you need to read the manual. The manual is very important. The digital manual doesn't come with a physical one.
I think most people, including myself, forget that there's a digital manual. Like, there's a lot of times where I think back, it's like, oh yeah, there's a manual for this, and I could be referring to that when I'm lost or confused how this works.
It's a very big digital manual. It's like 58 parts or something like that, to the manual. It has a lot of useful information. I really do recommend looking at it. But not all at once. You should take it in some strides as you want to think, get confused at it. But it doesn't really communicate much with you in the actual game. So I'd say overall it's pretty good. It's a really good open world action RPG. It has a handful of problems, but it's still perfect. I think it's a very good game. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much our thoughts. Anything else you want to add?
I'm looking forward to playing it when I start it up, probably the end of the month or somewhere around then.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's about it. So thanks for listening.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed.